Ladies and
Yeah,
I think so.
full on ESPN Plus.
The Plus.
Does that count as televised?
Yeah.
I would.
Streaming.
Yeah, I'll take it.
There's a lot of confusion with streaming these days.
Put us. Yeah.
These children are in a blessed position nowadays.
TV, streaming,
I didn't have any of that.
cell phones, video games.
I got here the hard way.
What was your first fight on TV?
Ugly fight on TV. Hated that fight on TV.
Carson
Munoz was my guess, no?
No.
Was it before that?
So yes,
Patrick Thompson?
He's gonna be mad. I know he probably gonna see this and be mad that I don't remember his name. But last name was Jones.
Carson Jones. Little known guy named Roy Jones.
Could have been Carson Jones. It could have been.
I'll have to think.
You ain't on yet, man. Hey, let's skip the boiling and get to it then. Welcome to the Port Away Podcast. Showtime, Sean P. and Carson, Sean Zittell over there on the end. And what is today? We have another special guest to the podcast. Another guy who's on. He's only gonna do 10 to 15 what is today, but he will be back. Great comedian. I put him easily in the top 5 in the world. I think I say that comfortably with no problem. Welcome to the Port Away Podcast, Russell P. Tersh.
Well, good afternoon, my little Ohio friend.
How are you, my little Middle Eastern?
Oh man,
He's Canadian.
Listen, Sean, I can't help you if you're geographically challenged. We're not in the Middle East. We're from Asia.
Oh, okay. Well, shoot.
Yeah.
Well, then give it to me then.
India is next door to China.
Where are you next door to?
I'm next door to Tarzana.
Because you're Indian from Canada, but you live in California.
he used to live in Vegas.
You was in Miami
I still
yesterday.
live in Vegas. Yeah, listen,
you
I'm trying to get around, dog. I want to be one of those Earth residents, not a nation.
Hey, listen, we not gonna air your business, and I know people are gonna get on and do it anyway. But me and Ant looked at each other, was like, "Yo, this dude gets money."
Hey, what's up, bro? Like, hey,
He was flashing cash before I got in here.
Get money.
It's different. Russell Peters is different. Like, your comedy is different. You as an individual is different. And even you talk about tax brackets, like your tax bracket is different too. We're not going to get into all that, but I just really wanted to say welcome to the podcast and thank you for finally coming on.
Oh, thanks. So, hey, listen, you did mine very early on in my podcast, and it was very appreciated.
No doubt. Hey, listen, you were in Miami over the weekend. You doing some commentary nowadays, huh?
Yeah, I did some commentary for XMMA last night. It was dope. I had a good time.
Was that on TV or any streaming or anything?
I think it was on. It's on the Fight Network in Canada, and I think it was live on YouTube last night. It was good though. The fights were solid.
That's what's up.
Their matchmaker made some good matches.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before we were rudely interrupted. Wait,
what happened?
Well, you came in while we were talking about how these guys got these streaming platforms now where they can be seen and the champions can be identified much earlier than, 2008 when I turned pro, 2010 when I was, starting to come up. So, I imagine last night you were broadcasting some guys that more than likely wouldn't be heard of for a significant amount of time had it not been for this streaming platform that they're on and of course YouTube.
Well, there was some new guys, but there was some like UFC legend guys who got cut from the UFC and are now fighting in the other what are they called? Companies, I guess.
Yeah.
So John Dodson was a headliner and Nate Marquardt fought as well.
Are you that familiar enough to commentate MMA? I know that boxing has been like
so.
People can get on it. Is Snoop really that?
No,
you know what I mean?
Listen, you know this already, Sean. Boxing's my number one, but MMA I also love very much. And I've been training jiu-jitsu for the past 6 years, so okay. I know the sport in and out. So when it comes to striking and ground fighting, I'm good. When it comes to kicks, I know nothing.
Yeah. All right.
You can just tell it looks like it hurt.
Yeah, you can hear it. Oof.
Russ, you've done some great things in your career. Netflix specials, Forbes list, highest paid comedians. But where would you rank now being on Shawn Porter's top 5 pound for pound comedians? Where's that?
I honestly think this is the pinnacle of my career. Because Shawn's on his way to a mega fight right now in 3 weeks, Shawn?
4
weeks. Wait, the fight. I feel like the fight was announced like really, and the date was announced really quick. Like neither one of y'all had a good, could get a full camp. Could you get a full camp out of this?
It's kind of,
working.
y'all don't see the behind the scenes. You know what I mean? And Russ, me and my dad well enough to know that we've been working since June.
Listen, I know you don't get out of shape, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. So
your dad is like Joe Jackson. You don't let.
That's perfect. The Joe Jackson of boxing.
Michael Jackson. I never had a childhood, and when I heard him say that, I was like, me neither, man. Listen,
I think you turned out better than Mike, but that's just me.
Hey, but the behind the scenes is most times when the fight is finally announced, usually the fighters know about it at least a couple of weeks before we make that big press conference and things like that. So
to
the world, the fight was 8 weeks ago, but for myself and Terrence, we both been aiming for this one for a minute now.
What do you think about the fight, Russ?
Listen, I'm excited about this fight, and I think you've had a fight more recently than Bud has, haven't you?
He fought like a month after me. So so both of us a little bit more than a year past.
It's the same amount of time off, but I also feel like, listen, you're one of the most underrated guys in that division, and Bud loves himself some Bud.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody loves Terrence Crawford more than Terrence Crawford loves Terrence Crawford. And I'm a fan of his, but I really feel like you are going to bring some fucking problems to him.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do. You're not the guy you can study for in a fight. You're not the guy you watch the tapes and go, okay, he tends to do this. No, you don't. You tend to go in and fucking throw everybody off their game plan, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
I really do feel like out of all of the 37 fighters that he's been in the ring with, I'm the first fighter that he's going to be in the ring with that is not going to follow the script, is not coming in just to do what he wants me to do or do what Top Rank wants me to do and get in and get out. Like I'm definitely coming in here not just to win, but to bring the pain from beginning to end.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't bet on fights, but I'm putting $5 on you on this one.
What's 5 gonna get you?
I don't know, but I got 5 on it.
Hey, Russ, we got another big fight coming up in 2 weeks. We got Canelo and Canelo-Plant.
Yeah, what you think of that presser, Russ?
Me personally, I don't know how these guys feel a little different than me. I got Caleb getting clipped and lipped and beat the hell up this whole fight.
You're absolutely right. Canelo's in one of those places right now where he is unbeatable as far as I'm concerned. His dedication to the sport, his ability to get better every fight. He fixes any problem he had in the last fight. He doesn't come in the next fight with that same problem. He doesn't make the same mistakes twice. He's learned English. Sure, he doesn't understand what motherfucker means, but he's learned English. I mean, how much can this kid do? You don't talk about my mother.
Hey, listen. I mean, I come from the boxing world, so as soon as he show up on TV with a violin, then I'm impressed. I'm not impressed with the fact that he's learned English.
Violin is what did it? Like
yeah,
Keith,
it's got to be the violin.
Yeah, but listen, that's because your wife's Mexican and she speaks English. You're just not impressed by that
anymore. It's true. I got the same issue.
Vicious.
So
vicious.
No, that was it. I got the same.
So listen, and also, if you know, from the Mayweather gym, Plant used to be in that gym. Mm-hmm. Didn't he used to train at Mayweather's in Vegas back in the day?
He's been there. Yeah, we all kind of.
Yeah, but I heard he was the guy. I'm hearing this from people inside the gym.
Uh-oh.
That he was the guy that would come in and just get his ass handed to him day after day until he started getting better and better. So they say he's the most.
That's a hell of a rumor right there.
I mean, that's not a bad thing, though.
No. But they said because of that, he got better and better. But again, you can only get so good, and then you run into the guy that's not going to give a shit about how good you got.
I'm just not going to co-sign that. I can't allow that to fly on this show. I really don't believe that he's the guy that would get beat up, especially at Mayweather's, because it's only it was at that point in time only a handful of fighters in there that could really box and really do their thing. None of those guys are there now. And with that being said, he's the guy. He's got his own gym and he's running his own show. You know what I mean?
So, I'm talking like when he was like 1 and 2 and 0 and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Not like recently.
Yeah. I mean, even for me, I think the first time we sparred together, it might have been like 2015, 2016. And I definitely, just being in the ring with him a couple of weeks ago, I saw some differences in his game. He's definitely much more confident now than when we sparred way back in the day. And I think that he has a much more solid baseline in terms of what he can do, what he wants to do in the ring. And with that being said, I feel differently than Ant does about this fight. And not even taking my friendship out of this, I really do think that if he comes out, starts fast, he could jump up on the cards in front of a guy in Canelo who doesn't really think that this dude can get with him. And then after a number of rounds goes by, something's gonna click where Canelo's gonna have to turn it on, and then right there is where we're gonna see the difference and see the level that Canelo-Plant is on in terms of being a champion and being an elite champion. So it's clearly Canelo is the elite of the elite, and we don't know whether or not Canelo-Plant is the elite, and he's been claiming it. I personally feel like he has elite tangibles, but they all have to show up in one night for 12 consecutive rounds. And so, it's gonna be a tall feat for him.
How's his power?
He has decent power. I remember back in the day, there was no strength. And I wouldn't say no, but there wasn't much strength, but he was relying a lot more on his speed. Now he's willing to sit there. He's willing to exchange, and he's willing to try to muscle you and grab you and do it and control guys. He never did that back in the day when we sparred, and I noticed that about him recently when we sparred. Is he does have more strength than he used to, and he will try to control you with his arms and his strength more so than just the speed that a lot of people know him to be about.
And with all that being said, Russ, what round you got him getting stopped in?
Well, Canelo is a notoriously late starter, so I'm going to have to go with around 6 or 7.
Okay.
But how's Plant's chin?
He's trying to get all the inside info.
Yeah,
well, no,
I can't tell you about the chin.
What we know is he has a bad cheekbone, so we know.
He took some heavy shots from a guy with some pretty solid power, and Jose Uzcategui was touching him up with some big shots in the last 4 rounds. He stood up to it.
He clipped him one time.
Yeah, he took. I mean, his face showed it, and he didn't, Antonio Margarito absorb it, but he took it and didn't. He hasn't been down yet in this fight. And then Russ, he's not Paulie Malignaggi. The question is, Paulie
Malignaggi couldn't crack an egg.
Right.
Russ, you coming to my fight?
Man, I want to come to your fight so bad, but I think I'm working that week. I'm going to call Kenny Porter if I can, though.
You got enough money, man. You ain't got to work. And we're not going to say how much you got, but
I mean, I had it. The tax man got most of it.
California.
Look at that hat. That hat speak money. That's money right there.
It's actually solid gold.
Why you do the duck lips?
Looks like it might be ivory.
Hey, Russ, Andre Ward picked Canelo-Plant to win by knockout.
Really? Listen, I know this is it's a very unpopular thing to say, but I still was never 100% convinced with Andre Ward.
Yeah.
I got it. My brother said the same thing.
I knew that was coming. You can't convince me. He's the guy.
Listen, I think he's a great fighter, but I really feel like there was a couple of fights he should have had that he didn't have, and that to me tarnished his legacy. For me, does it matter to him
specifically?
No. Does it? He should have fought Triple G when Triple G was Triple G. Now
didn't want
Triple
the fight,
G's down to 2 G's. He should have fought. Who else did he avoid? He should have fought Canelo. Not Shakur Stevenson. Adonis. No, Adonis Stevenson. Hell no. Yeah, because he's Canadian. No, I am.
He had the belt.
Obviously, Canelo. Everybody wanted that.
Everyone wanted that, and maybe Benavidez too.
Ooh.
I think Benavidez is the guy that give Canelo hell in the future.
I agree with you. And Canelo just said that he would fight one of the Charlo brothers too.
Oh.
He said he's going to fight one of the Charlos. I think Jamal or Jamal. I don't know the stupid names,
Jamal.
but yeah. And then he also said he would fight Benavidez. So, I mean, I feel like Canelo. The only thing Canelo may be doing wrong in this fight is looking through Plant.
Yeah.
Hey Russ, shout out your podcast and everything real quick so we can get you out of here.
It's culturally.
You weren't funny enough. You weren't funny enough.
How dare you? I'm going to buy you new teeth after this fight.
You're going to downsize them a little bit?
Hey, Shawn Porter's mouth guard is the only one with stretch marks on it. Listen.
Oh, man.
He was saving the good material for his exit.
I told you this dude.
Nothing.
I told you he's
spoke too
different.
fast.
He's like He's like George Costanza. He's leaving on a high note. But
What's your podcast? Tell everybody.
Culturally canceled. You can get it on iHeartRadio or Apple Music or wherever you get your podcast. I had the lovely Porter father-son combo with Cedric the Entertainer and myself early on. It must have been like my second or third podcast, and they blessed me. They did me a solid and drove all the way from Vegas to my house to do it, and that's why I asked where yours was, because I felt like I should have been there with you.
I already know. I appreciate you for.
Hey
coming
Russ,
on.
what you got coming up? You got anything coming out?
No, actually, the movie Clifford. Do you know that movie, the children's book Clifford?
Oh,
Big
yeah,
Red Dog.
yeah.
Big Red
you
Dog.
in
Big
that?
Red Dog.
Childhood favorite.
Hey, we
It's
all got
coming
hyped.
out, and
Doing
I'm in it.
Clifford's voice.
No,
Emily Elizabeth?
I play Malik the Magician in it.
Oh, okay. When that drops.
Yeah, in 2 weeks, I think.
Okay.
You know what? I'm taking my little boy to see it now.
You know
Yeah,
any,
yeah,
you
your
know
kid will
any
love
magic?
it.
You know any magic?
Yeah, I know how to make my penis disappear.
Oh,
I
why
promise
would
you.
you
I promise you.
through the
When
locker
I
room to
asked that,
disappear.
I was like, he's gonna say something about a penis. It's his culture. You're culturally canceled.
Oh, it's a
true.
woman he needs. Got it.
And you know, my favorite thing to do is when I introduce Shawn to people, I go, "Hey, this is Showtime, Shawn Porter. Shawn, lay down so they can recognize you."
This guy. Well, hey, you have a blessed life.
He never coming back?
He ain't never coming back.
You know what? I'm usually scared of Kenny, but now I'm scared of Shawn again.
Hey, we appreciate you, Russ. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right, brother. Thanks. See
All
you,
right, now
fellas.
Take it easy.
Later.
Appreciate it, man.
Can I
That was a good one. I thought it was bad.
piggyback off something you were talking about with Russell and talking about sounded like you meant in the second half of the fight is when we're going to find out if Plant can really withstand that level. I just thought that was good because I think the first few rounds is people are going to have to get over the shock that he is at the level. It's going to be a competitive fight. And then when Canelo makes the legs slow down, will he be able to hold up and plant his feet at times? And
I'm not. Y'all know me. I hate predicting fights, and a lot of times I don't really like to say what I think is gonna happen. I'd rather watch the fight and then commentate while it's going on, or give my analytical perspective afterwards. However, I just cannot see this fight going any other way than what I said. He's gonna start fast. Caleb is gonna start fast. Caleb Plant is gonna start out. He's gonna establish his jab immediately. That's who he is as a fighter, and that works into, I guess, for the sake of words, the disadvantages or lack thereof that Canelo has. Canelo is relatively a slow starter, and he doesn't go jab for jab with you. And he's not going to go combination for combination with Caleb Plant. Not early. It's not going to happen early. He's got too much experience, too much patience, and too much confidence to feel like I got to keep up with this dude in the first 3 to 4 rounds. So I got a feeling that rounds 5 or 6 is when he's going to say, a lot like Billy Joe Saunders, where he just had to turn it on a little bit more. I feel like he's going to flip that switch. However, I think that nothing's really going to click for him until that second half of that fight, 7, 8. Where he's gonna feel like, all right, we gotta do what we came here to do. We got enough conditioning to do it. We got enough power to do it. So let's go ahead and do it. And I think then is where we're gonna find out exactly what Caleb Plant is all about.
I'm gonna ask you. I'm waiting. I'll be here.
You gave a great breakdown in our group chat.
No.
So
I'm prepared to read that if you don't say it.
You can go and read it.
We'll do it the week.
I thought you were pulling the phone out too.
I'll wait for next week.
Next week.
Yeah, but
preview the fight.
Hey, did you feel like all three of you guys, like the patience Floyd's big on the patience.
Yes.
Floyd will give you the first 2 or 3 rounds. Then after that, he figures you out. Do you feel like he stole that from Floyd too?
Maybe it's just the trademark of what a lot of great fighters do.
Okay.
You're so right, because Floyd...
Tyson Fury, I guess, did that against Wilder, right?
In the first fight, he did. He did take his time in that first fight.
I talk all the time about rhythm, and a part of the rhythm of boxing is learning the pace, your specific pace to a 12-round championship match. Mayweather's pace is a lot slower than everybody in the welterweight division right now, but he had his own pace. Yeah. He was the dictator in the ring, and no matter who it was he was in the ring with, he had his way, especially later on in his career. He slowed down, figured out what he wanted to do, how he could get it done, and he's delivered every single time. I think the same thing for Canelo. I don't think it's necessarily him having experience with Mayweather that gave him the understanding of how to find his pace, but I think that after the experiences of going 12 rounds, you figure out like, okay, is 38 minutes in that fight or whatever. Like, you find your moments to take your breaks, to have your spurts when you want to work, where you want to lay back and things like that. It's just how it goes.
Lomachenko too he's a notorious slow starter. Have to bring him in. There's guys you got to mention every episode. I have a button
Crawford
I click on the side. Yeah. He's not a great fighter.
No, you gotta build him up.
No, I know. Yeah. You guys know how I feel about that.
You got a Floyd.
I already
Great
lost.
fighter.
I mean, like every time you say something to me now, there's a ticket eyes in your eyes. Yeah. Like, I want a ticket.
Yeah, I'm just hoping the section number goes down. I'm like 201, 200, get me to 199, baby. But no, Terrence Crawford, great fighter. November 20th, buy the pay-per-view. And I think you have to. Also, think you have to get ESPN Plus to get the pay-per-view. So keep that in mind.
Just get it all going.
Yeah, just get it all going.
Oh, my fight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I mean, to answer the questions like Crawford, Loma, Usyk, these are the guys we all consider right there with Canelo as, the best fighters in the world. And Floyd in the gym with Tank, he would tell him as he was sparring, Tank would, be letting some beautiful stuff go in the first round or two. And we have 12 rounds. So that just seems to be, it's not maybe something Floyd owns. It's a byproduct of what a lot of these great fighters do, I guess.
Floyd was big into not wasting shots.
Yeah,
that was his thing.
You're right. No, and Canelo
totally opposite.
Has taken from that. You're right. Economical.
It was like Floyd was saving money on the punches. He didn't want to waste any. He was like, when I throw it, let me make sure this thing is for a purpose. But do we want to go back yesterday's fights? Yeah.
What y'all think about Russ right quick? The dude is crazy, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Your first time
that's
meeting
my type
him, right?
that's my type of guy.
So next time we do him, he'll be in here, and it's like we gonna kick it.
Hey, call him and ask him, can I come by the house?
It'll be the longest episode we do. You probably can't go to his house. That's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna
happen. Yeah,
he's a sneaker. Like some comedians are like Jamie Foxx, loud, big personality, and then some guys are kind of.
That's kind of
quiet,
why,
and then you're like, oh, that's hilarious.
That's kind of why I wanted to talk about him a little bit, because I'm real big on comedy, and all I do on YouTube is watch. I watch more comedy than I watch our show on YouTube, and he is definitely like one of the top 5 active comedians out right now. And I would even put him. It's hard. My top 5 is like, I don't know if y'all have a top 5, but right now Dave Chappelle's in there, Bill Burr's in there. Russell Peters is in there, and it's a couple underground guys that I've been seeing. I'm like, wow, like these guys are really doing their thing. I know you're not big on Kevin Hart, but I think Kevin Hart is still in there. I think that he still has that kind of that it factor when it comes to stand-up that a lot of stand-up comedians don't really have. So
still subscribe and listen to the Porterway podcast. Don't do what Shawn does.
Russ is the kind of guy that can go on stage a lot like Bill Burr and a lot like Dave Chappelle, and even though they have their sets, if somebody says something out of line or if a joke steers them a different way, they go off their set and somehow they bring it way back around to their set and get back on it and get back on that trail and keep going. So I love the art of comedy. I'm not a stand-up comedian, but I watch it and I study it, and I love everything that almost everything that Russell. I knew when he was coming with that penis joke. I said, hey, yo, do you know any magic? And I was like, damn, Damn, why'd you say that? He gonna say something about the penis.
I'll pat myself on the back that I did have a good joke. I think Ant caught it beforehand. You said he's gonna be a magician. I said, well, go ahead and disappear. We're trying to get him off the thing.
Your all your stuff like goes way like it's
under the table.
It's subliminal.
Hey, you know,
We're afraid of him.
You big guy, Toby. You know Toby? Toby's actually a stand-up comedian.
Toby has done stand-up, and I'm trying to.
Yeah,
we've been talking. I've been like
his
a couple
agent?
times a year. Nah, but a couple times a year, I'm like, yo, what you think? What you think? You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. Maybe that would be one of those business ventures we go out on.
Oh yeah. This blow up. We about to do stupid stuff.
Get Toby back.
Hey, we about to have.
Get him back.
I don't know what this guy gonna have, but he gonna have something.
So last week we had. This guy.
We gonna give him something.
Last week we had
a food truck.
We had comedian Pierre on the show, and then this week we had Russell Peters on the show. He says, "What are we doing? Like, we just getting comedians on the show." I'm trying to diversify this podcast. Along with that, bring other audiences, not just to the podcast, but to my fight.
Okay.
I'm trying to sell this.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. You should explain this to us in pre-production.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with Carson. I didn't know what was going on.
You know what was going on. But the other side of that is as you could tell, like these comedians that I'm bringing on, they're boxing fans.
Yeah.
Like avid boxing fans, you know. So he didn't watch Shakur Stevenson last night because he was working. You know what I mean? So we're going to keep bringing them in the next couple of weeks. Probably shut this thing down, I don't know, in the next 2 weeks or so.
I got something. Working.
Until that time.
What about Cedric? Can we get Cedric? I got a comedian I could get you in.
Cedric's a boxing fan too.
Can it be the Carson way for 2 weeks?
No.
Carson.
That'd be wild.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
It is hot.
Yeah, you can just take the L.
Oh,
Yeah, I was suffering.
It's hot every time in here, and you got a tracksuit on.
Oh yeah, got the Nipsey Hussle. I'm suffering too, and me and my boy, we're gonna stick through it, baby.
I got shorts and a short
Black
sleeve
and
shirt
red
on,
sweater gang
and I'm
today.
still sweating.
I ain't gonna lie, when I'm watching YouTube and it automatically plays, and every time it automatically plays, of course our show comes up. I'm like, turn this shit off.
See, but at least you support.
But I watch our show every week. Like, come on, get your stuff together.
Yeah, that's you.
I should be watching it.
Yes, you should be critiquing.
You need the
It's a good
view.
show.
It's like help me, help you, but helping yourself. But
So just click it one time.
No, you got to watch the whole thing.
or it could
We
be
need all the
or it
views
could
we
be
can
a
get.
do as I say, not as I do. So just tell the people to watch.
Yeah.
But then you don't watch.
Yeah, do as I say, not
Yeah.
as I do.
So watch, subscribe, like. But
That's not
so
what's good.
boxing's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about that?
let's get back
Sweet
to that,
science, huh? Shakur Stevenson. Anything on the undercard of note?
Xander Zayas. Look,
I guess shout out to all the greats.
Yeah, you was quick with that.
Go ahead, go do your thing. You
Yeah.
want to talk about him?
No, because that
I ain't
Valdez.
mad at you. I'm just like, you was
Valdez
quick.
undercard. Yeah.
I mean, we know Shawn knows him. Sparred with him, worked with him, gave him the thumbs up. So that's always encouraging because the guys he gives the thumbs up, Teofimo, Devin, they usually like go on to do great things. So.
He's looking at him like, Shawn gave you the thumbs up. What are you gonna do tonight?
Yeah. What you got?
Yeah, what you got?
Josh Taylor, T.O., Devin, they all went through
Oh,
the
yeah.
performance center.
They didn't all go through the performance.
Yes, they
center.
did.
No,
I
they
seen
didn't.
him.
See? So
That's the best part about boxing, man. I did the same thing. I came up under Kelly Pavlik, couple other guys from the Cleveland area. Even being in LA, obviously Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? I've sparred with the guys. And now I'm one of the guys, and there's the young guys out
Giving
there
back.
that eventually get there. You know what I mean? This is a small fraternity. And and I love being a part of everything that boxing has in terms of the family side of it, because you can with boxing you can go to almost any big city and find sparring, find guys that know you if you've gone through that whole thing. And I judges, referees I've known for years. Oh yeah, I meant to say this not too long ago. When I first went to spar with Canelo-Plant, Caleb's got referees in his coming to referee his
Who's
fight.
that, Robert Byrd?
His sparring. I'm not gonna say who it is.
I know.
but
I
he's
love Robert
refereeing his
Byrd.
sparring.
Listen.
I actually was gonna say who it was, but I'm gonna leave that
yeah,
out.
yeah.
But I'm gonna bring in is we got into a small conversation. You hear the spar with Caleb, all that kind of stuff. I said, yeah. I was like, I got a big fight coming up soon. He said, yeah, but all I can say is I know you got a big fight coming up. And I smiled, and we kind of went like that, because like there you go, acting as you're supposed to act outside of fight night. Like
right.
leading up to a fight, like you're not supposed to have these kind of friendships and relationships that are going to steer you in either direction on fight night. And so for him to look at me and say, yeah, but all I know is you got a big fight coming up. I've been knowing this ref for a long time. And so for him to switch that off out of having a friendly conversation about Caleb and about, the commentary that I was doing, he was commending me on NBC, Olympics and all that kind of stuff. And then I said, well, I got a big fight coming up. He says, yeah, but all I can say is I know you got a big fight coming up. I was like, well, damn, if it was more referees like you out there, this shit might be a little bit better than it's been. You know what I mean? So very
whoever you are.
Very professional.
Mystery referee.
Should I say it? Should I say it?
No, don't do it. Don't do it because I got something to say about it. There's a dude that walks around Vegas. You catch him in a conversation. He know you boxing. Hey, give it up for an hour. He got you for an hour. I was trying to be respectful.
He's one of the refs or judges?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
and he starts talking. He talks. You probably got one.
I might.
And there was no way for me to get out because I'm respectful to my elders. So I'm like, I want to say, hey man, can you shut the hell up?
I wonder. People have been sitting here. I wonder if people are caring who these people are, or if they're trying to guess. If they're like, I wonder who the referee is.
Well, they're here.
The hardest of the hardcore boxing fans.
And everybody's gonna look at try to find
like
some.
2 words.
Everybody's gonna try to find some Canelo-Plant sparring and find out who it is. But I'll sum it all up. Here's the thing. Fraternity. Here's the thing. I've been in this game since I was 8 years old. Like everybody who is anybody in boxing knows who Showtime Shawn Porter is. There's no way you can't develop a friendship, a relationship, a good rapport with all of these judges, referees at some point, unless you just keep your mouth shut and you're not trying to shake a hand and be friendly. Even the doctors. I mean, my dad and I were watching the fight on TV the other day, and we guessed where the fight was taking place based on the doctor that was in the ring. You know what I mean? So even doctors. So when people are bothered about the way these decision goes, you have to understand that the judges and referees, they're human. And there's some things, some of those referees and judges can't turn off that friendship that they have or that understanding that they have with some fighters, that depiction that they have about a certain fighter fighting a certain way. If they see something different or they feel like he's not performing the way they're used to him performing, all of a sudden rounds go the other way. And then the decision doesn't go the way that you want it to go. So how do you defeat that? These judges and referees have to get into their mind. I have to turn this off. I have to turn off my friendship. I have to turn off the fact that I've known this kid for a long time. I refereed his first professional fight. Now he's in his first championship fight, and I get to be the one to do it. All of that comes up at some point, And so just saying that, I know this podcast reaches a lot of the boxing audience out there, even judges and referees. Figure out ways.
Please be better.
Figure out ways to turn it off, because when you turn it off, you are a better judge. You are a better referee.
And some are just not great at what they do. But
we didn't need any judges or referees for the main event last night.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning.
Zayas look good.
Oh yeah, let's get back to Xander.
He looked really good. We watched the fight, and he threw a lot of combinations. And I kept mentioning he was very quick to get his hands back up because he was getting touched a little bit up on the last undercard. And so he was getting those shots off and crushing the body. Mm-hmm. So grade A performance.
It's almost like these guys on the way up. I guess with Julio Diaz is you're building up, and then you get a little plateau for a second in that one fight, and then you come back, bang, right back next. But it seems like you hit a little speed bump or something like that on your way up. And Zayas, even though he won every round his last fight, it was the first time you didn't just blown away A+ performance. And it seemed, and Shakur Stevenson against Jeremiah Nakadila, it's that little speed bump. He won every round, but didn't perform the way you quite wanted. Next fight, bang, right back to ascension. So that was Zayas and Stevenson too.
Yeah, the notable offsprings all did what they were supposed to do at Holyfield, and
he was proud. They're your favorite fighter's son.
They did their thing. Yes, they did their thing. Good right hand by Nico Ali. 1-2 the first time.
Apparently that's a Kronk thing, according to
Let me finish with Xander right quick. I was very impressed with Xander. He is on his way. How old is he now? Is he
19?
19 now.
He stopped somebody that's never been stopped. That's big.
Somebody who's never been stopped. I said, I mean, at some point, those guys who have never been stopped, they're getting to that point where they're going to be stopped. But for him, I saw patience from him. I saw poise from him. I saw power when it needed to be power. I saw speed when it needed to be speed. For him to be 19 and be performing like that, don't take this kid lightly. Don't think that he's just in the ring with somebody he's supposed to beat. It's all about your performance. So even though he's in the ring with somebody he's supposed to beat, even though he's in the ring with somebody who's supposed to get stopped, eventually and now you're going to be the guy to do it. And now we're going to broadcast that you're the first guy to stop this guy. How did you stop the guy? I think he did it in a very professional way.
Broke him down.
He did it in a very professional way.
He very easily. This is just what I think. I think he probably could have put the pedal to the metal more. Maybe put himself more at risk and tried to knock him out. But he did, like you said.
But he
just
didn't.
Systematically broke him down. Very diverse punch output, like on the body.
I'm all the way on the other side of the fence. I'm all the way in danger.
Yeah.
Not getting hit much, but I'm still. It's a lot of action, all that. Now that's why people love me. But people are gonna love him for his professionalism. Keep looking out for Xander Zayas, because he is a really good boxer.
Like you said, those hands kept coming back. He's fundamentally sound.
Firing him off and bringing him right back up.
Right.
But
I taught him that. He was throwing.
he was like, "Hey, I need
He
help."
he was taking some shots again. Yeah, he was throwing them and not bringing them back against me. So I
taught him that.
You sparring for real?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I ain't teaching that.
I'm like, you taking credit.
That's kind of like what I joked about the Kronk thing with Nico Ali-Walsh with the right hand on the commentary, like the signature of the Kronk Gym. I was like, yeah, it was literally a 1-2.
It's so tough.
but man,
It's so
SugarHill is a damn. That's a weapon for you. That's a great X factor in your corner.
Absolutely.
That man is the truth.
And I'm not saying that to discredit Kronk or anything, but they're like a signature of the Kronk Gym. I was like, a 1-2? Like what?
That's what he's got going for him is that man in his corner.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that when we talk about the 1-2, it's like, how is it a Kronk thing where it's universally, that's the number one combination you learn. Yeah. You learn the jab, you learn the right hand, and then once you put those two together, it becomes the first combination you learn. So how is that a Kronk thing? But it's the way the punch is delivered. It's the way they train that right hand to be delivered, and the fact that it's a simple combination, the most simple combination in boxing, and can be so effective. We see it a lot more times than not. It's been very effective with Kronk fighters traditionally, and now we're starting to see SugarHill kind of branch out and do his own thing now. And hey, listen, when you got Tyson Fury knocking out guys with right hands and 1-2s, and then you got this kid Nico who is doesn't have as much experience and
letting them hands go.
Still has a long ways to go in terms of getting more polished in the boxing ring, and then he can let go of that 1-2. You look back and you say, oh, maybe it's the Kronk.
I always worry about kids that had an easier childhood.
In this sport, especially.
Yeah, just life. Life itself. Just when it gets tough, and you run into a dog.
I think it's just always different based on the person, though. Because
He
you're a
worried
big,
for
you're
my
a big.
kids.
But he's also a big Kobe Bryant fan.
Am I worried about your
Kobe
kids?
Bryant's dad
I'm
played-
worried about our kids, not just yours. But
I was say, Kobe's dad played in the NBA. He's one of your favorite guys. I'm sure his life wasn't too bad overall.
No, it ain't about being bad. It's just,
it ain't every single
it's
person.
the
I said. I think it's just
adversity
based
that you
on-
have to.
Yeah,
I just
because
think it's gonna be different.
I know Lorenzo Fertitta. His son was a killer on the football field, but I just
That's why I said in this sport too.
Yeah.
It's in basketball.
Yeah, this is different.
Yeah.
This is different. Yeah, it takes a little bit more than skills at
Even though
times.
Kobe, RIP, got pieced up by Chris Childs, but
Knicks, baby.
yeah, the Knicks tape off to
My
a nice,
paisano Kobe.
off to a nice start to the
Here go to
season.
New York. Here go to New York.
My paisano.
He said,
"Oh,
"Hey,
he's from Italy."
He said, "Hey, Chris
promise
Childs."
I'll
Yeah, Chris Childs. No, Kobe's from Italy.
He's like, "Hey, Allen Houston, what are you talking about?" Latrell Springs.
Latrell Spree with Marcus Camby, Larry Johnson. Oh, we did this.
Charles Oakley, Cleveland native, but
The 1-2 though. You're right.
Yeah, so
'Cause
the 1-2.
Hearns, Lennox, Vlad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 1-2's not. Did you guys see the clip of SugarHill in the corner with just jab the motherfucker?
Oh yeah. That was a
jab
smooth
him.
clip. That was a smooth clip.
That was great.
Check. Where's is that on YouTube?
That's on YouTube.
Check
So
that out.
it's on his Twitter.
They
They
it's on
compare-
Lennox's Twitter, right?
On I think
Or-
on Lennox's and SugarHill retweeted
Oh,
it
and
too.
so SugarHill retweeted
with
it.
Emmanuel on top.
Lennox does a side by side of him being coached by
The legend.
by the legend
Emmanuel
Stewart, and also by SugarHill being coaching Tyson Fury in the very last fight, and the energy that was coming from those guys. Lennox is basically saying this is how you coach a fighter through a championship fight. You don't tell a fighter what he wants to hear. You tell him what he needs to hear. And sometimes that delivery is a little
Motivational
different. I know my dad, man. My dad, he plays to the camera sometimes, but for the most part, he gives me what I need in the moments where I need it. And I really did resonate with this video right here when I heard it, because I heard a lot of what would come from my dad. Maybe not the exact language per se, but definitely the intensity and the sense of urgency to get the job done. And
wouldn't be surprised if we hear him talk like that November 20th. Really wouldn't.
Yeah.
Simple.
Also,
Right.
Yeah.
Shawn is 100% going to make weight on November 20th based on the heat in this room right now. If anyone's
Carson.
doubting that he makes weight,
Shit, we might make way at this
I was going to
point.
say, you're going to see Ant and I at 147 pretty soon.
Hey, but they can't tell we hot, man. We gotta keep it professional.
yeah.
Hey, we got.
Get this motherfucker out of here, man. You can fuck around and get caught with some crazy shit. Step it up, the man is finished.
He can't throw the right hand. He jabbing. Quit trying to duck walk in. Jab the motherfucker, man. Yes. Just jab the motherfucker, goddammit. The simple shit in the book.
They say when you get older, you turn into your dad.
Yeah. So
You notice that too?
It's definitely a little bit of that, but it's also, again, like it's the moment, and in the moment, Stewart knew, like, hey, and they make it sound so simple, and a lot of times funny, because again, like looking at that, I see what my dad's talking about sometimes when he's like, it's really that easy. Yeah. In the ring, in the moment, it's training and all that, I'm like, it ain't as easy as you think it is. But fight night, I'm listening to my dad. I hear everything that's going on in the audience, but I hear you. But it be sometimes you say something and then my dad say something. I'm rolling with what my dad says, because I understand that my dad knows what's going on. He's the cheerleader. He's the cheerleader, right?
You're going to hear me yell some shit.
I don't never say, hey, go to the body.
No. He ain't on that. He ain't on that. But he definitely, I don't know. He the
I'm his guy. I'm the motivational.
You might hear a "Don't be a hero" from me way up in the 20s.
Hey, I just try to make you find some. Keep going, man. You gotta keep going. Yeah. But go ahead. Do your thing.
No, I was just gonna say we're 40 minutes in. Main event was pretty solid. I mean, yeah.
It's 40 minutes in. So what?
Because you're gonna say when we get to the hour mark, yeah, we're kind of running out of
We
time.
gotta go.
We're up against it. Like we have a commercial break coming, but.
I mean, it was all Shakur.
It was elite.
Yeah. Did you see Jamel winning around the table?
Maybe the fifth.
Maybe the fifth.
Maybe the fifth.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe the fifth.
No, I say no, but maybe the fifth. But yeah, Shakur. I don't quite understand the criticism of, man, he really should have got him out of there. It looked like he could have got him out of there. It's like, really? That's what we're doing?
But he did get him out of there.
Yeah, like what do you,
I didn't see none of that. I seen praising his performance. I'm gonna be honest.
Well,
I didn't see no hate.
Let's start there then. Stoppage. Good stoppage.
Hell yeah, he was beating the hell out of him.
Good stoppage.
He literally did what Shawn said.
Decent stoppage.
He broke him.
Yeah. I mean, no, the man didn't quit and wasn't about to quit,
by no
but he
means,
disarmed him completely, and outclassed him, and that's saying a lot, because Jamel Herring was firing on all cylinders headed into this fight, and Shakur did what Floyd Mayweather said he used to do: is I make guys look extraordinary guys look ordinary, and if Herring's the champion, if not extraordinary, and that's what he did. That was elite stuff. That was elite. He was sharp as a steak knife. Everything was sharp. He didn't get hit. His jab to the body was beautiful. His coordination, positioning, he could catch, or he could slip, or he could just pivot out of the way. Everything, every move, except for a few spots. Obviously, you're not going to be perfect every single second, but he was almost perfect every single second. That was great, Shakur.
Hey, Shawn, when I knew he was going to lose? In the introductions, when they said, born in New York, resides in Ohio, I said, he never going to win.
Because he left.
No one moves to Ohio.
Does he live in Ohio? Does Jamel live in Ohio?
Yeah,
Does he live in Cincinnati?
yeah, he resides in Ohio.
He trains in
I'm like, who the hell?
Omaha,
Who the
though,
hell
something.
moves in Ohio?
Legends.
Yeah. Look,
R.I.P. Aaron Pryor.
there you go. Sean used to.
You downgraded the stoppage from good to decent.
Yeah.
What went in there?
Well, when you look at it, you can look at it two ways. You can look at it as this guy hasn't won a round.
Yeah.
He's not. He's taking punishment. Not. I didn't think it was overboard.
Yeah.
But he was he was taking a lot of shots. He was taking heat and not able to return heat.
Yeah.
So in that sense, you say, yeah, it makes sense that it would be stopped. But then on the other side, he's on both feet. He's not wobbling around. He's not defenseless. He's not defenseless and helpless. And so with that being said, not just because he's a Marine, but because he's a fighter. And at the end of the day, you should allow a fighter to finish a fight, you know. I don't know, man. I think that at the end of the day, when you look at Jamel Herring's record, now you're going to see that he was stopped by Shakur Stevenson. And had that referee not jumped in, the fight probably would have gone the distance. You would be seeing that he lost a unanimous decision against Shakur Stevenson. So I don't know. I mean, I just think that it depends on who you are as a fight fan. I agree with the stoppage.
We both did.
Yeah, I agree with the stoppage. But then after the fact, I thought about other fans out there who may not know the game.
The casual fans who are tuned in to see a KO.
And a champion, too. That it's one of those things that factors in, like, he's a champion. Yeah, he has to lose his title.
And Carson, you guys save boxers sometimes from themselves.
I saw how
they keep going.
I'm glad you said that because I saw highlights of Shane Mosley and Margarito just the other day. And I mean, Shane was all over this dude. This dude is defenseless and helpless in the ropes, not on the ground yet, not on the canvas yet, but just wobbling around all that. And it took Shane putting him down twice in order for the ref to finally come in and wave it off.
Margarito
we don't want to see that happen
against those ropes. Like, man, I wish I had plaster in my gloves right now.
We don't want to see that happen anymore, but still, there's still a lot of fans or boxing fans even that's what they understand about boxing, and then a lot of other people out there who don't understand boxing. That's what they expect.
My easiest formula for it was I don't think anything was going to change.
Yeah.
So like Ann said, sometimes you just need to stop it. That was good. If you could replay that round, play it for the last 2 rounds because that's probably what was going to happen, unless Shakur for some reason really put the heat to him.
Yeah.
But, so I think. Good stoppage. I was very impressed. I think
super impressed.
I think Shakur is exactly what I kind of said last week, where I think he could be on the pound for pound list. Jamel Herring is no slouch, and this performance does not make him a slouch. For anyone that thought that,
one of the best jabs in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shakur,
you
don't always see that authoritative jab from the southpaw.
Fast and strong. That's another one.
I'm about to say, Shawn, you be giving everybody. You be
Devin Haney, Virgil Ortiz.
Oh yeah, he said Devin Haney.
Yeah, I don't think I said Virgil Ortiz as one of the best.
No, you say
I said that.
Let me take a look at him again.
It was after Virgil.
He's got a hell of a jab.
I think he's got the best jab in boxing. And we said, you said that about Devin Haney.
He getting old, giving all the young guys credit.
Which is good.
All those guys do have good jabs.
Yeah, better than being,
they do.
He got a jab though.
And Jerron Ennis got a nasty jab. I know we'll probably get
and we'll get to that.
Yeah,
we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
No, I thought that's as good of a performance as you can have.
Could not been. I don't think he could have done anything differently.
No, I don't think he needed to.
I mean, even if you nitpick, there were a couple of rounds that he took off. Yeah. Even in taking off rounds, he still won those rounds. And even
maybe
beyond
got away
that,
from the body a little bit.
And then even beyond that, it's noticeable to us because, again, talking about that experience, there's going to come a time where he's going to be able to pace himself and find his rhythm to a point where nobody's even going to know what he's doing.
It was to the point where I thought Jamel got to step it up, getting the inside. Man, when he got Shakur met him in the inside, beat him in his own game.
Yeah. I told you he would, remember?
And literally broke him down.
Yeah.
Harrington had the height, the reach, and it meant nothing last night. He'd been from the inside and the outside.
I think that might be what you mentioned. The biggest takeaway or the most surprising thing was how good Shakur is on the inside.
Man.
Because like Jamel, again, is the bigger guy by all accounts. And he was, Shakur, he's pulling out of there, firing an uppercut.
That's why I said last night, I said even if they weren't tied together, I still would make the comparison of Shakur Stevenson to Andre Ward. Ward was another one of those guys, very good boxer from the outside, and there were other guys who were big bangers, and he would get on the inside of their power and bang them out. And I just see a lot of similarities between the two of them. Of course, southpaw and one orthodox.
Yeah.
But
I love from Shakur, especially as a media guy. Like I love that he was able to take. He could have, because he did basically win every round against Nakatila, and he could have took that. Like you were saying last week, don't apologize for that. If you're going to improve.
Exactly. I would have never, I would have been like, I'll see y'all on the next one.
Yeah.
And then on the next one, I'd have done that. And what do I need to apologize for?
He didn't need to apologize.
I agree that he never, obviously he never did need to apologize, but I'm happy. it just speaks to his character that he didn't just take that as, you know what, guys don't know shit about boxing, and I won every round, and that's that. Mm-hmm. He felt that way, but he also said, I hear what you're saying, and you watch what I do in this next fight.
Yeah. And I still, and even afterwards, still disagree with the trash talk of Herring. Like, I still feel the same way.
Although at least
but then afterwards, they're hugging, they're taking pictures, all the team. You know, I'll give a major shout out to his wife Jen. He went in the locker room afterwards, and she mad dogged him. She stood there.
See, I know you don't like this,
Mad dog?
but
he was
with the sunglasses on.
Yeah, she was just sitting there, and then she tweeted and was kind of like, "Hey, just you're a great fighter, congrats," but like, it wasn't necessary.
Had to dig my heels in on that
Mad
point.
Dog Stevenson.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that's what
Mad Dog is
husband.
I was like,
he did a
dang.
great job.
I know Carson don't like that. If you gonna talk crap, Carson like, hey, we ain't friends forever. But I mean, that's how it is in the hood, man. We talk crap all day long. Then at the end of the day, hey, it was all love, baby. Yeah. I'll literally disrespect your grandma, everything. Let's go to war. But after we go to war, it's love and peace. At the end of the day,
yeah, I guess
that's just how it is. No need for me to hate you forever.
The head on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Look at.
I know you mad at me. I'm sorry to you. I apologize.
At the end of the day, you know that's how my lady would be.
Like,
my lady
get
say
on
F you forever.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not mad at her. And I'm not mad at Jamel for being, he's
You saw the fight. He's young.
Is what it is. But I thought, I get what you're saying, and Shawn knows. Trash talking, like on the basketball court, that's one of my few attributes that helps the team. So I get it, but it's not like, I'm not personally going at you. Like, he was kind of going personally at Jamel. Like,
that's how I trash talk.
100%.
I want to disrespect your grandma.
But I was just like, I just didn't think it was necessary. But who am I to criticize that? Do what you do.
We don't know Shakur personally.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what he had to do to get to where he got in terms of
Very
the
and he said that.
performance that he had.
Yeah, it was all love after.
Yeah. Maybe he had to go there in order to have.
I think he beats Valdez.
I think
we said the same thing.
I
think
he carves Valdez.
Oh
ass.
man, he's gonna beat the
power.
hell out of Valdez.
some power coming.
I'll be honest. This might be bold. I think he beats Valdez worse than he beats Herring.
Yes.
Because Valdez is gonna fight back.
I don't care. I think he lights Valdez's ass up.
Hey.
Because I think Jamel. There were times where he just and kind of said what I said. Like, I was waiting for Jamel, and we were both kind of saying, like, go, you gotta go. And I think Bomac said the same thing.
Said
like,
it,
go,
yeah.
But he couldn't.
And I think Valdez is going to keep going, and I think he's going to be right there for Shakur to hit.
Will Shakur be the bigger guy in this fight?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. But Valdez has power.
Yeah.
And if he can
And
cut
that's a
the
great
distance,
equalizer, of course. Yeah.
he can cut the distance. He's going to let his hands go if he gets where he needs to go. And he has power. And he's not slow. Mm-hmm. So I got Stevenson winning. But I don't count out Oscar Valdez. The problem is, I don't think he's going to get that fight.
You don't think so? What do you think?
Well, okay, look,
I don't
come
think he's
on.
gonna get that fight. I think honestly, I hope I'm wrong because I would love to see those two fight. I think, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, I think Valdez is going to wind up fighting Navarrete. And I think that the big fight that could be out there for Stevenson with Top Rank is Lomachenko. Maybe goes back down to 30. And I just want to get out in front of this for Shakur. We all know that Lomachenko looked as good as he ever looked against Nakatani. So if Shakur gets him soon and beats him, I don't want everyone to take credit away from him as Teofimo got to him first. Yeah. Teofimo beat him. Yeah. He didn't punish him. He didn't turn him into damaged goods. He looked great his last fight. So if Shakur gets to him and beats him, I just want him
to get his full
credit. Yeah. Because I actually have a feeling he's going to have to wind up fighting Lomachenko instead of Valdez.
Lomachenko. And then it made to the point that Lopez may not be able to get away from Lomachenko. I know he's trying not to fight him. Hey, all roads lead back to Loma.
I hope Lomachenko just follows Teofimo. If Teofimo goes up to 40, Lomachenko's like, I'm going up to 40 and just keeps going up and down if they go.
But that's what I mean. I think he'll say, all right, let me fight this Stevenson then. Or Haney.
So if he's not going to get Valdez, is it worth it clean out 130? Just go up to 135. That's where all the fights are at. Lopez, Haney.
Not a lot of, we talked, Shawn and I talked about it yesterday. There's not like, all these divisions have a lot of champions. There's not really at 130. Like it's, and then I know Gutierrez is fighting Chris Colbert. I believe that's also 130. And it's like, I'd like that again. Top ranking PBC. So probably
they're almost too good to fight this early though.
Yeah,
Stevenson and Colbert. Like,
and also one funny thing to mention with Chris Colbert, he mentioned that he was possibly going to fight Gary Russell Jr.
That's a great fight.
He still fight?
But they mandated allegedly. He's the myth. He's like the Loch Ness Monster of boxing.
That would be a great
Is he still
fight.
a champ?
Absolutely.
He got WBA, don't he?
The WBC.
It's the one that matters.
He's going to hold on to that thing. He's going to come back. He's going to whoop somebody's ass and then fade off
Slip
into
out the back
distance.
door.
But so I would like to see Shakur and Valdez. And Shakur actually called out Valdez before he fought Herring. He was like,
Yep.
if I could pick one of the two of them, I want that guy. But he didn't get him. But I think hopefully they do end up making that happen.
Hey, is it possible? 5 division world champ.
For Shakur?
Yep. He already got 2. 35, 40, 47.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the stopping point.
Possible, yep.
Possibly.
We'll get to
6.
4. We'll get to 4.
He should get to 40.
But 5 is it's tough. 26 to 47 is tough. But he could do it.
He
could
gets
do it.
35 and 40, I think.
For sure.
47 is
For sure,
Ennis.
Stevenson.
yeah.
Ennis and
Yeah, that's a high high bar. Which
Yeah.
again, I think Shakur's gonna be one of the best in the game for a while. So it's possible.
You said possibly number 1 pound.
I think he's number
day.
one and not
a
too
bad
far
bet.
out. Yeah, he is. He's a special kid. But
hey, all those future guys, Haney might be low on the totem pole. I mean, Haney used to be the top guy.
Calm down.
And he's,
there's so,
I got you.
The dream is alive and well.
Absolutely.
He's still a problem.
there's so and we're lucky right now that there are so many young guys that we're able to say. I mean,
Yes.
look, even just those divisions, T.O., Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Tank's still relatively young. I mean, there's a lot of great fights to be had with these young guys.
It's kind of like what we were talking about when we started the podcast today in terms of streaming and these guys being put on different platforms, especially with social media the way that it is now. These young guys are being seen much sooner. They're being taken serious much sooner. Mm-hmm. I got a feeling that this is not just a wave, that this is gonna transform the sport of boxing. And you talk about a fighter being in his prime, in his 30s, early to mid 30s, in his prime. I think that's going to happen much sooner. I think guys are going to be in their prime. I'm in my prime now, but I think that it's going to change where guys, you see Xander turning pro at 19 or turning pro at 16, excuse me. And now at 19, he's really kind of coming into his own. He's making much better choices and decisions in the ring. Yeah. And just evolving. The world of boxing, I think, is evolving. And I'm really grateful to see these guys, these young guys, taking on these challenges.
Ryan Garcia, another guy that I omitted as I'm running through a checklist. Another super young guy that is. They did ESPN also did a list. Maybe we can talk about
25 under 25.
Yeah, I disagree with a lot of it, but
I agree with all the guys on the list. How you order it is different.
They had my guy Boots down at 7, which is just criminal. But speaking of Boots, this weekend.
Boots.
Back in action.
That's your guy, Shawn.
My man didn't. That's why he didn't make it in the count.
Yeah, had a fight. Who could have get?
I know people were
pretty selfish of him.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, people were like, my dad knew.
Oh, okay.
We recorded. I came out the room. I said, we were talking, da. Is Boots coming? He said, no, Boots ain't coming.
And the best is when he said it, I said it, I go, yeah, there's a fight coming up. And we just were like, yeah, that'd be cool. And then, but yeah, he fights Thomas Delorme.
He's one of the few guys out there who's exciting in the ring. And I think there's got to be another component to him, whether that's before, during, or after the fight, that's going to kind of make people want more of him. I think the boxing world wants to see more of Boots, but I think that there's another audience out there now that should want to see Boots, but doesn't know enough about him yet.
Maybe that's why he gets a little less credit than I would like on a lot of these lists, because those guys, like we see Teofimo yelling at Devin Haney and them yelling back and forth at each other. Yeah. They are a little more brash. Boots is obviously a confident guy, but that might make sense just to add a little allure to your fights. But I think the boxing community, like you said, is
we're all smitten. The boxing community definitely just plenty of respect.
He is my number one young guy in the game. Boots
I agree. And that's kind of how it was when Floyd was going out. They're like, man, who else is coming? But everybody knew Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Earl Spence was on the way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But everybody was like, man, the game is over. Yeah. The game is hot to me. Yeah.
And so we have Boots and Delorme, and then
I mean just about Ennis for a second. I watched him just to get ready before I came here. That Lipin Yates fight, I mean, we said this after it happened, but oh my, like
he's electric is the best way to describe him.
He's dynamite. I think he's a more natural switch hitter than Terrence Crawford. I think if Crawford never could switch southpaw, he still have became a world champion.
Absolutely.
So don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think Crawford's really more of a southpaw. And watching Boots, he really is a monster and has different looks both ways. His jab out of the orthodox stance is fantastic. And it's so heavy. It's almost like a right hand, his jab. And he's so educated. He knows how to place it down to the body like Floyd did. And then when he switches southpaw, that's when that right hook comes out. And he's speed and power. Only thing we have to see with Boots, because he's so electrifying, like you said, is how's his chin, when a guy gets through? How is he past 6 rounds? What happens when someone really tests his defense? Yeah. But, I mean, goddamn, he is just special.
And
he's special.
Delorme, a good fighter. I'm not sure this is the fight we see a huge test for him. I think
if Delorme's the same guy he's been his last couple fights against Stanio, he's shown he's still capable. Yeah. He's shown he's still capable. He's not going to get the job done.
He's a good fighter.
But there's some speed there, some pop, and he's still capable. So as long as he's the same fighter, this will tell us something about Boots.
And then obviously Jamal James and Butaev is the main event there, which ties into an interesting thing.
They set my guy up.
Yordenis Ugas. I'm talking about Ugas.
Oh, my bad. All right.
Oh, they set your boy
Jamal. They set my boy
James.
Jamal James.
Yeah, they're setting him up for a Jamal.
They ain't gonna never give him a shot at
they're setting him up for a Boots Ennis?
Yeah, clipped. He gonna get clipped, man.
So my issue with this whole Ugas situation, which ties into WBA, which anyone who's familiar with the podcast, I'm not too fond of.
He get one to show.
WBA, Lomachenko. I'm getting those in every time. But I think, so Ugas gets this huge win over Pacquiao. And you even mentioned, SP, that get the win, and that solidifies you as the champ.
Ugas.
Yeah. So you get this huge win over a legend. Yeah, what a win.
What a win.
And now it's like,
they act like it didn't happen.
And then they're like, hey, by the way, no unification bout with Errol Spence. Not only does he have to fight Stanionis, but then he has to fight the winner of Jamal James and Butaev. So now you're putting him in for 2 mandatories?
Jamal.
Like that's just crazy to me.
How long? So he got to fight. Ennis is in there too?
No, Ennis is not in there yet.
Let's say Ennis will get my belt.
But I'm just like, I feel bad for Ugas. You have the belt, which whether you earned it, whether you didn't, who cares? It doesn't really matter in this case. But then you beat Pacquiao, so there's no question anymore. Yeah. You are the WBA champion. Yeah. And they're like, sorry, no unification fight with Errol Spence for the IBF and WBC. You got to fight a tournament.
And Carson, is it worth just saying F this belt?
I think it means a lot to him. I think it means a lot to him.
Not if you're a guy like Ugas, you need that belt.
Yeah.
To have a little power.
That's your bargaining chip.
Because nobody wants to... nobody wants to fight Ugas without a belt because he's a tough guy.
Kind of like my man right here.
Yeah, very true.
They got to force him to fight against you.
Yeah, he's a tough guy to match up with. But I feel bad for him. I don't know if you have overall thoughts on
because it's a tough situation, and I think a lot of people don't understand when you win the belt. If the belt is vacant, you have mandatories. If the belt is not vacant and you take the belt from someone, you either have a mandatory clause, rematch clause. If that's not put in place, they're running down the list of number 1, 2, 3, 4 in my sanctioning body, and this is who we want you to fight next. I'm not gonna get all into it. It's unfortunate, but it's a money thing, and for the WBA, it makes sense. For Ugas, it doesn't make sense. It's really kind of in some ways it's unfair. You should be fighting the elite guys. I'm not saying he's gonna lose his belt in his next fight, but if you're taking on someone and possibly it's a hard fight that you may lose your belt, you should be losing your belt to number 1, number 2, number 3 guy, not just in the WBA, but just across the welterweight division. You know, so he should be fighting. He should be fighting not Terrence Crawford.
Dibs.
But he should be fighting Errol Spence Jr.
Keith Thurman.
He should be fighting even Keith Thurman. That's a money fight. You know what I mean?
Literally, when you were going through who it makes sense for, it only makes sense for the WBA.
And Stanionis.
Because and Stanionis and Jamal James and Butaev. Because even Errol tweeted and was like, hey, when I come back, it's not a tune-up fight. I'm fighting for belts. And then literally tweeted the head of the WBA and was like, hey, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Because that's a fight because if Errol comes back and wants a title, sorry, buddy, you're going to have to wait for this random tournament we're doing.
Well, you can fight the winner of Shawn and Terrence.
Yeah, come on, get a belt. If you think you can get a belt that easy.
Yeah.
It won't be easy.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for
Do we look
Ugas.
scared?
I think it was nice.
But that is how Ugas got his shot with Shawn, was as a mandatory. So now the shoe's on the other foot. And it's a good fight. Stanionis is a bad boy. Right? That's going to be a good fight. That's going to be a tough, which adds to your point. Like, really sucks. Like, okay, it'd be one thing if you got Jack Catterall as your mandatory coming up, but you got to fight this guy who you could
fighter.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight.
Don't ever question
He was supposed
him.
to fight Josh Taylor, but Josh Taylor got hurt.
Yeah, that's Josh Taylor's mandatory. No offense to Jack Catterall. Don't come get me.
Yeah.
But,
Pull up on him.
but the
FightHype.com.
Stanionis is a little different. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
But
absolutely. It's a tough fight. I think Ugas wins, but not by no means a foregone conclusion.
It's a fight that even, I agree he wins the fight, but that's the kind of guy that punishes you.
That's
He
gonna be a
takes
banger too.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a banger.
And like you said, like Shawn said, one of Shawn said, he wants the money fights, man.
Right.
That's what Ugas is looking after, the money fights.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
Big fights.
Like
Like
you-
know, like the world doesn't know Stanionis. I know Stanionis from commentating.
Yeah.
I don't think I would know Stanionis had I not commentated a few of his fights, 2 of his fights. And I think a lot of Stanionis, but
Good fighter.
if I'm being fair, if I'm being like a fight, like, he should not be getting in the ring with Stanionis. You know?
And I just
Stanionis should not be getting in the ring with Ugas, excuse me. Because there is a difference there.
It just seems like kind of a kick in the nuts. Like Ugas, you beat Pacquiao, you beat a legend.
Yeah.
Nobody thought you were winning that fight.
Yeah.
We were like, no, Pacquiao's got him. You win, and then it's like
True.
you can't This is where you capitalize on that. You go into a fight, like he said, I think it was February of next year. You and Errol Spence, 3 belts on the line. The only other one Shawn will have at that point. So it'll be good money at that point.
You're talking that talk right
Gotcha.
now. You're talking.
We're less than a month.
Talking.
But so I think it would have been
It's
perfect.
not on the floor yet.
That's good. That's good for everyone. Like if that fight
3
happens.
weeks left. He'll get there.
Errol Ugas, I'm gonna chip away at it. It's a process. I'm gonna break them down like Ugas to the body. But I just think that would be great for everyone.
It's really hot in here.
Oh, is it?
He mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, a couple times. I think Shawn actually might go for 140.
You're right.
Yeah, but
Listen, man.
Stanionis fights a lot like Butaev, who is the main event. I tried to.
how do we feel? I think round the room. Jamal James wins.
Tough. Yeah. I think it's a tough fight for him.
Tougher than expected, maybe.
Tough fight.
He's not the best at. He's got that length. He's not the best at keeping you on the outside. So instead of that, because he's had to adjust to guys get in on him, he lets his hands go a lot. And sometimes the offense is the defense. That'll have to be the case in this fight. Butaev has a big left hook.
Yeah.
I think
And Jamal James,
it's
you
gonna be a
guys
tough fight.
beat Jamal James, right?
Yes.
he did.
Yes.
So
By
like
decision.
that's another thing where you're throwing him back in there. But yeah, so
Ugas beat Jamal James.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Did you just say that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because then
did you just
literally
say that?
Yes, yes.
very
Oh,
it's really hot in here, guys. I apologize.
I thought he said something. I
Delirious.
thought you said something else.
No, because I'm just like, so you beat this guy, and then they're gonna say, hey, you gotta fight him again.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I don't know, man. This guy could beat Jamal James. We'll see because
I like Jamal James.
Me too.
I like him
Kind of
too.
underrated guy.
And that's why when I expected it, and then I broke down some tape on Butaev. Shawn commentated one of his fights, and
You might be in the building for this event, perhaps.
was Jamal James
here.
Yes, I'm there. I am
He's
there.
there.
Yes, we were so hyped about
Depends
Boots
what
Ennis,
it
we
is.
forgot Jamal was the main event.
Yeah.
But yeah,
If you see Shawn Zittell, make sure you tell him you hate him on the podcast or you love him on the podcast.
they all know me because of the podcast. Like I did interviews for
That's
10 years, and no one knew me till I got on the podcast. So
Behind the scenes.
Legend. But yeah, it'll be a good fight.
Listen, man, we are almost 70 minutes in, so we are gonna say goodbye. Y'all have a blessed day.
This is war.
And we'll catch you next week.
People running up on you and stuff.
Look at this.
Hey,
war.
hey, somebody
Video
ran up
game.
on me and to know me from the podcast. My lady said, "Look, give me your hands." Here, germs.
Somebody pulled up on me. It was Tim. It was Tim Bradley.
Hey,
Shout out to Tim. Desert Storm.
God bless. What's up? I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Ant. Follow me on IG with 2 T's.
This is the Porter Way Podcast. This is Anthony Brunel, and this is Carson A. Merck. Tell them what to do.
Hey, like, subscribe, comment, follow us on all social media platforms.
Subscribe.
I'm from Louisiana. I'll talk with a B. Let's do it. Let's do it again. Let's
All
do it.
right, just introduce yourself.
Okay.
And then tell them, and then you tell them what to do.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Porter Way
already.
Podcast.
You're already here.
Hey, this is our outro. We're gonna do it how we want to.
I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Anthony Brendel.
Carson A. Merck. Like, subscribe, comment.
This is the Porter Way.